heritage, beyond valuation, beyond forgery or imitation, now in his immaculate maturity. Close your eyes, and he never went away. Without so much as a by your leave.
Welcome back, the Meducation Nation. It has been a long time since I've sat here in front of the camera. Now, I know a lot of you would be wondering what has happened to tomorrow's medic. Where has he gone? Has he quit YouTube? Is he now not yesterday's medic? But the one thing I say to each and every single one of you when I see you guys on the street and I speak to you now, I always say this. And I always say that tomorrow is always promised. Tomorrow's medic will never leave. I sit here today talking to you as a doctor. That's right. I'm now officially Dr. Tomorrow's medic. It has been a long journey, and a journey that I have been through with you guys. And I know I speak to a lot of you guys as aspiring doctors, current medical students, aspiring medical students. And always the goal of this channel is to try and be as transparent as possible, to try and show you guys what my life is like, and try and give you guys some valuable, good quality content in order to hopefully help you guys along your journey and learn from the lessons that I have learnt. So we're back now, and we're back for good. The last proper upload that I made was in January 2022 when we were uploading regularly. Since then, what has happened? Since then, one of the first major things that I did was I did a fashion show. I did this in the 5th year of medical school, and this was a medical school charity fashion show that we put on in the name of charity for a good cause. And essentially, in that fashion show, I had to get my shirt off in front of the whole medical school. Now, as well as doing something for a good cause, I also wanted to give back to the medical school. And one of the main reasons for doing this was to see how far I could push myself in 12 weeks and go on a fitness journey to see if I could really get into the best shape of my life. And it wasn't easy, guys. So yeah, in the gym alone, it's like 10 o'clock on a Saturday. Just done a cardio 400 meters, sweating profusely, it was going in your eyes, but just pushing through. Yeah, I don't know if anyone's gonna see this, but it's not easy, it's tough. Balancing medical school, 5th year is literally, in my opinion, probably the toughest year of medical school. Balancing the workload with gymming regularly every single day, tracking the calories, preparing food, doing your steps, doing your cardio, going to placement. It was all a huge challenge. But what it showed me was if I put my mind to something, I can achieve it. And I was thoroughly proud of the end result, but also being able to commit myself to a challenge and seeing it through right to the very end. And I felt like the discipline that process instilled within me was able to translate into other areas of my life, including my academics. 5th year is literally one of the toughest years of medical school, and I was able to perform my best. As soon as we finished the fashion show, we went straight into the exam season, and this exam season was tough, probably one of the toughest of my entire life. Because in 5th year, the way it works is you have the specialities, pediatrics, psych, and obs and gynae. Now, these 3 specialities are probably specialities that me personally, I'm not so interested in. My baseline knowledge was not very good, so it was a steep learning curve for myself, and it was a little bit out of my comfort zone. A lot of the information was brand new to myself, so it was really getting to gist with all that information, getting on top of it, being ready for the exams, and also the practical exams that we had to do. That was really challenging. And on top of all that, we had pathology, and that is essentially, preclinical medicine, the science underpinning common conditions and also very rare conditions. Now, pathology, it's notorious exam at Imperial. It's, one of the famous exams. It's been around probably, for years. Literally, some of the lectures that we were looking at were 20 years old. But it's really incredibly useful. The amount of knowledge that we have now from that exam, I'm so grateful for. So essentially, we had the exam season straight after fashion show, and then the way it works is 5th year is a very long year. It's essentially more than 52 weeks, so it's more than a year itself. And really the goal for that was trying to not overwork yourself and not be burnt out by the end of it. What I said to everyone was, it's a marathon, not a sprint, okay? And so it's important not to gas out. And I think we managed it well. And as I say, we performed very, very well in that year. Then we went on to final year. Final year was literally only 4 weeks break from the end of 5th year. Very, very tight turnaround. Academically speaking, I didn't think final year was as tough. I thought it was fairly similar to 3rd year. But the issue with final year that I found was you get no break. There's always one thing to do after the other. There isn't a time where you can chill a little bit, and then it's very full on, not necessarily academically, but there's a lot of organizational and logistical things to do. In final year, you literally go from being a medical student to being a doctor and having a job within the space of a year. And so the logistics and organization involved with that is incredibly time consuming and grueling. So the first thing that I had to do in final year, I had to organize my elective, which was going to take place at the end of final year. So for that involves a lot of organization in terms of organizing your vaccinations, applications, insurances, getting approval from the medical school, securing your place. After that, I did an application called the SFP, which stands for the Specialized Foundation Program, and that involved essentially preparing for an interview process, which involved making sure that I knew all of the medical emergencies and also being able to analyze an abstract and be familiar with a lot of research terms. And so that, did take a large chunk of my time trying to prepare for that. And bear in mind, we're balancing all of this with placement. As soon as the SFP process finished, I then had the SJT exam to prepare for and complete. We then had Christmas holidays, and then straight after Christmas holidays, we're back into another exam season. And this is finally for the finals, where we try and become doctor, essentially. We got through the finals, and the biggest, big reward after that was a lovely long break, a medical elective in Max Fax, which stands for maxillofacial surgery, and I did that in Australia, in Melbourne.
Bro, how much you benching?
I had such an amazing time there. The team was really friendly. They really got me stuck in. I also saw Dev there. He was in Sydney while I was in Melbourne. And then me and Dev, one final boys trip. We went to Bali just for a week, just to relax and chill out before we flew back to the UK. Bali situated very close to Australia, and the cost of living there which is great for a student, really. And then we came and started our job as a doctor. It so far has been interesting. Had a 1-week induction where we basically sat in a lecture theatre, got familiar with the different systems and processes within the hospital, and then we had 2 days of shadowing our predecessors on the ward, and then straight into it. If I am to reflect on the past 2 years, yes, it has been very busy. Yes, there was a lot to do, but at the end of the day, one of the major consequences has been the YouTube hasn't been as regular and it has been neglected. And if I was to self-reflect on this, and I think, guys, self-reflection and being honest with yourselves is a very important skill to have, because only from when you can reflect on your experiences, on yourself, can you really learn and develop. And my reflection over the past few years is, it can be very easy to make the excuse that you're incredibly busy, it's fine, you're not superhuman, etc. But at the end of the day, life is always going to be busy in certain time points, okay? You're going to have different things coming on, things that you don't expect. Life can get very busy. And the important thing to do is to make sure that you value the things that are important to you, your hobbies, your interests, your goals, and to make sure that you don't neglect that and you try to always set aside time for it. Because if you don't, quite honestly, life will get in the way and it will be neglected. Now, I know that this YouTube channel and trying to, even if I help 1 or 2 people out there, that for me is a great thing. And so for me, doing this channel is a very important thing for myself and something that I hold dearly. So I'm going to make a conscious effort to set aside time and to really try and produce consistent, regular content. So guys, I just wanted to update you guys a little bit about what I've been up to, what I've been doing, and the fact that we're now back, and we're back for good. If you guys have any videos that you would like me to make, please comment them down below and we'll get round to doing them. Thank you very much.